The rain begins with a single drop.
Someone said to me that when you look at the richest men in the world, like they look at like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and all those
George Soros, all those
billionaire
dudes.
characters, that they're not really the richest men in the world, that the real richest men in the world are these Saudi guys and a lot of these oil guys, but they're monarchs and they don't have to disclose their wealth.
They never do. Yeah.
It's not like they're the CEO of a corporation.
No.
They're head of a royal family.
They owe no government any indication of what their earnings are.
So this dude who knows one of those cats was telling me that he's probably a trillionaire.
Me.
And I was like, what? I go, that's real? And he goes, yeah. I go, I didn't know there was trillionaires. He goes, it's very likely this guy might have access to $1 trillion.
Because the only thing that we know is our famous billionaires. Yeah. We're infatuated with our billionaires that we kind of have as these social icons, you know, like the Zuckerbergs and these guys that are like, they did something that we can recognize. These Saudi families that have had that money have had that money for a long time. It's not new money.
No,
this is old. They had hundreds of millions 50 years ago.
Right.
So now it's only accumulated into billions of, I mean, they own, well, that guy, the Chinese billionaire that, what was his name? He just bought the Basquiat.
Oh, we had it. It's just Japanese.
Yeah, for $100 million.
We're talking about that. What show was that? It was Bill Burr. Yeah, dude, 110, I think it was.
I mean,
and he owns another one that he got for like 57.
But that 57's nothing to him. That's like, it's a flick.
Guy's insane. Who's this cat? We're at
$1.4 trillion.
Oh my God.
See?
Oh my God. The royal family is worth a staggering $1.4 trillion. Solomon bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, pictured, is the current king. Dude, that's balling on a whole new level, son.
That's just new.
1.4 trillion.
We are incredibly privileged to have His Royal Highness Abdul Aziz bin Turki Abdul Aziz Al Suhad of Saudi Arabia leading this transformational capital raising, and we are also pleased to welcome other digital asset industry investors joining this round. As a long-term holder of XRP myself, we all share a common vision and objective with regards of how publicly listed XRP-focused treasury companies can be scaled for the benefit of XRP communities and VivoPower stakeholders alike. And then it talks about international wire payment friction, and then the two companies, Tembu Business and Carrot Digital. The Prince states that we have been investors in the digital asset sector for a decade and have been long-term holders of XRP. After reviewing a number of listed vehicles seeking to embrace a digital asset treasury model, we have selected VivoPower given its strategic focus on XRP and its objectives to contribute to building out the XRPL. Having met with President Trump and his leadership group during their recent visit to Saudi Arabia, we believe the timing is appropriate for digital assets and blockchain technology to be rolled out in the kingdom, and we are delighted to be assisting VivoPower in this regard. XRP is expected to be one of the 5 digital assets that will be accumulated by the U.S. government as part of Donald Trump's recently announced strategic Bitcoin reserve and United States digital asset stockpile. There's a lot going on in this announcement. Now, first of all, the royal family has an estimate of wealth measuring at $1.4 trillion. This is spread across 2,000 people in the royal family. They don't have to publicly disclose how much money that they have, so it's difficult to determine what kind of wealth they have, but it's estimated that they are the wealthiest family in the world and the wealthiest in recorded history. The CEO of VivoPower is Kevin Shin, and this is Kevin Shin 3 years ago speaking in the Middle East.
Renewable energy, we consider to be very strategic in terms of building out a blockchain-based business, and we call it power to blockchain. And so how that sort of manifests is for us is that we want to own the renewable power sites and to be able to control that power. And in the future, beyond mining digital currency, which is the highest and best use today, there's multiple applications that will come from, basically the Web 3.0, if you will, which is going to be very, very power intensive. So to actually physically own those renewable sites, we think is strategically very important. We're very much focused at this stage on the mining aspect of the cryptocurrency industry. And our mission is to build the most efficient net zero powered crypto mining company with operations principally in the US, but we're also looking in the UAE as well.
I caught a lot of flack for speaking about Bitcoin and the incentive for alternative energy sources. Now, it's estimated that the United States needs twice as much output in energy to power AI. Bitcoin is the incentive for alternative energy sources that were not possible before, but with Bitcoin, it rewards companies early on without having to have infrastructure, costly infrastructure, to get to power grids. But with Bitcoin, the companies can sustain their building out of alternative energy sources and plug into the grid eventually as the money comes in. VivoPower's website states that they provide a comprehensive suite of sustainable energy solutions encompassing electric vehicles, solar systems, and battery technology and microgrids. That is important. I'll get back to microgrids in a few minutes, but Carrot LLC, when you go to Carrot LLC's website, they talk about using renewable energies to power Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and AI-driven data centers. This is really important because the United States does not have enough energy to produce AI at scale. We need to 2x the amount of energy output that we already have. Now, they are doing this through things like solar panels, and you can see power your business sustainably with solar. And they talk about crypto miners, green hydrogen producers, and more. So you can see that there is a common theme of ESG compliant solar, renewable energy, and very intensive computation that requires a lot of energy output in order to do this. Now, the other thing is when you click on Tembo, which Tembo is for electric vehicles and is for a fleet of electric vehicles for off-road use. You can see in the background that they have a desert, and this is also important. And they have Tembo government, which is for law and order vehicles, so law enforcement, being able to do things off-road, emergency vehicles, utilities, mining, so they're able to mine things with renewable energy. Talk about agricultural products. And it's important to note that a lot of these electric vehicles at one point are going to be self-driving, and they're going to be connected to the Internet of Things where cars can talk to themselves. So imagine going down the expressway going 160 miles an hour, and the car is driving itself, talking to other vehicles, and being able to go at the fastest possible speed in a safe manner because every car is talking to one another.
This is NEOM, or here, to be more precise, in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. But NEOM is more than a place. It's a home for people who dream big. Bigger than that. That's more like it. It'll be a hub for innovation, an entirely new model for sustainable living. The vision for a new future. In fact, that's how it got its name. But what will be there? There's Oxagon, a thriving city at the crossroads of the world, where advanced manufacturing will enable industries of the future. Trojana, a year-round mountain destination. Just remember to pack your skis when you visit. Or if skiing's not your thing, there's always Sindala, one of NEOM's many beautiful islands, perfect for some R&R. And Align, a 500-meter-high, 200-meter-wide, 170-kilometer-long city in the shape of, well, a line. No roads, cars, or emissions. And everything its 9 million residents could ever need within a 5-minute walk. The best of all, The entire region will offer unparalleled access to nature and will be powered by clean energy. All within easy reach of the rest of the world. I know what you're thinking. Why does the world need NEOM?
That's a good question.
The world needs NEOM because the world needs change. That's what we mean when we say,
made to change.
NEOM represents a global opportunity for one, changing how the world does business by making the region a special economic zone, easing the way for entrepreneurs to blaze their trail. 2, changing the way we live our lives with preventative healthcare and the highest standards of livability. Sounds nice, right? And 3, changing how we look after nature and our planet. Because without this, what use are 1 and 2? But how will NEOM achieve these aims, you may ask? Within NEOM are 14 sectors, spearheaded by the world's best talent. Each sector has been designed to advance technology and push the very limits of human knowledge. Imagine NEOM as a prototype for a better future, a future for all.
NEOM is a smart city that Saudi Arabia announced, and they are trying to use the latest technologies, the most advanced technologies, and do it in a sustainable manner. This is where you could see that the royal family is interested in crypto assets. They're also interested in expanding the XRP ledger and VivoPower because there's a lot of synergies that take place with the smart city crypto assets and VivoPower that is using renewable energy sources. Brad Garlinghouse retweeted the VivoPower and XRP ledger announcement and then undid the tweet from yesterday. But I want to bring attention to the skull that Ripple donated to the Bitcoin conference. And this was originally used to change the code. That was a campaign funded by Chris Larson in order to lobby the Bitcoin community to swap to a proof of stake algorithm or a different algorithm that would not use miners. As I explained earlier, I think that Ripple is now understanding the exploration for alternative energy sources like we saw with the VivoPower announcement and what they are doing with alternative energy. And this was sort of an olive branch to the Bitcoin community. I think alternative energy sources are going to dominate the Bitcoin mining industry. And as these companies mine Bitcoin, they are going to be custodied by Medico, and the XRP ledger is going to be a vehicle to transfer Bitcoin in the form of IOUs within the XRP ledger ecosystem.
Real time. And that makes a big difference in the adoption of these technologies by the banks or other payment providers, in their countries.
And what kind of results are you seeing in terms of adoption?
So, for example, last year we partnered with SAMA, which is the central bank for Saudi Arabia, and that resulted in 4 major banks starting their digitization journey on RippleNet. Here, for example, Bahrain and Abu Dhabi Global Markets are leading the world in the development of regulatory frameworks for the use of crypto assets, and that's got to be a good thing for the ecosystem.
In 2017, Ripple announced a pilot with the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, which is the central bank of Saudi Arabia.
And now it wants to be a part of BRICS, a bloc of 5 major emerging economies, including China and Russia. The president of South Africa says Riyadh is interested in joining this bloc. Why? Our next report telling you.
This is Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. On Sunday, he visited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and made a stunning revelation. Ramaphosa said that Riyadh wants to join BRICS, a bloc of 5 major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Saudi Arabia wants to be its 6th member. At least that's what Ramaphosa claims. Here's what he said during the visit. The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman did express Saudi Arabia's desire to be part of BRICS. That's not all. The South African president says Saudi Arabia is not the only country. A couple of others are keen on joining as well.
They have a great desire, and they are not the only country that is finding the BRICS family or formation attractive because of what BRICS stands for.
This is a US dollar-dominated system. At the center of the system is the petrodollar. And what that means is that the dollar is backed by oil. In order for you to purchase oil, you'll have to sell the currency that you own for US dollars, and the US dollars purchase oil. In the 70s, we saw mass inflation take place because of the oil shortages. And this is where Henry Kissinger went to the Middle East and negotiated a deal to put the dollar at the center of the petro system. All currencies are pegged to the US dollar. So as the Federal Reserve lowers or raises interest rates, it dictates the monetary policy for the rest of the world. And this is troublesome. And this is also one of the reasons why manufacturing has been hollowed out in the United States. It's simply cheaper to outsource all of your labor and all of your manufacturing outside of the United States, and this is Trump's priority. So with this in mind, what I am seeing is that the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority piloted RippleNet, and the purpose is to take any currency for oil. This is also why Saudi Arabia is interested in joining BRICS. It's not because they want to remove themselves from the dollar system. It's that they want to include the BRICS trading bloc to purchase oil using whatever currencies they see fit.
Or jets be used there was one. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatar jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet.
$5 trillion is an enormous amount of money. And this isn't like Elon Musk owning Twitter and they value it at a couple $2 billion and add it to his net worth. This is $5 trillion being invested, liquid capital coming into businesses in the United States. As U.S. businesses receive this capital, they're going to expand enormously. In the VivoPower press release, it talked about XRP being part of the digital asset stockpile. Keep in mind that Ripple is a US-based company. Immediately after Donald Trump leaves Saudi Arabia and arranges a deal for $5 trillion in investment, the royal family leads an investment round with VivoPower for the purpose of adding XRP to their treasury. This is the wealthiest family in the world, with estimates that the family has $1.4 trillion. And these are just estimates. You see, they can't disclose how much money that they have. And their very first move was to invest in a company to put XRP in their treasury. There will not be any investment or movement or growth in any region of the world without the voice of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this, please consider joining my Patreon.